Hey guys, Scott here. Today I want to talk about fog vials. I've not actually made a dedicated video about fog vials because frankly, I felt like I was alone on an island thinking that they weren't really that big of a deal. I didn't find them super annoying, and in fact, I wanted them to be somewhat viable because if that is the case, that means survivors will bring less medkits and less toolboxes, which is just usually going to be a good thing for the killer. However, a lot of people were very frustrated with them, a lot of accessibility issues, people can't see shit, getting frustrated, headaches, all this good stuff. So people, had a couple of valid concerns. I think, being able to use them unlimited time, certain add-ons made them extremely strong. And I think there are certain valid concerns. I'm just trying to say here, I have always preferred that over bringing medkits and toolboxes. So I didn't want them to make them useless. And of course, in behavior fashion, that is pretty much exactly what they did. There was a bug fix today that changed a couple of things, but in this, there was actually a direct nerf to fog vials, and they have made it so they only have 2 charges for the entire game now. And I don't even think this is the correct way to change these items. To me, this is sort of like what they did with Iridescent Head. Iridescent Head is a add-on for Huntress that makes it so your hatchets one-shot people. You used to, with the proper setup, have more than one. So you could have like 3 of them and get 3 one-shots in people. It was completely ridiculous. But they changed it to now you can only have 1. And they just wiped their hands and said, oh, that's it. It's fixed now. And there was obviously the much better suggestion of making it only one shot at a distance to reward skillful plays and not have a Huntress just back rev you and throw it 1 inch away. But they just did the lazy way and said, okay, you can only have 1 max now. But the problem with that change is that doesn't make it less annoying for the person that gets hit by that 1 hatchet. It still feels like shit getting hit by that 1 hatchet, and that feeling doesn't change. It's just now the Huntress is more frustrated because she has to reload more. The guy getting 1-shots just as frustrated as before. Like, you have to think about the personal experiences when these things are happening. How does that relate to the fog vials? So people are saying that if you make it not unlimited, it's going to be fine. But if you still lose a chase or 2 because of that item as killer, you're going to be equally as frustrated as if it had 7,000 charges. If you lose a chase, that is very, very bad for you as killer. So whether it's successful 1 or 2 times, to me, it's no different from 2 to 1,000,000 times. You're still going to have that shitty experience when people use it. So it doesn't really fix the actual problem with it. But let's go over the actual main issue with fog vials that I and a lot of other people have already brought to the attention to the developers, and they seemingly don't care, or they're just doing it the lazy way. Also, as a random aside, Franklin's Demise died for this. So Franklin's basically was changed because I guarantee they didn't know how to code it, because the item has like an unlimited form of charges, or rather it works a different way. So they don't know how to remove charges because it doesn't obey the standard item behavior as like a medkit or a flashlight with the bar that goes down. It has a number that goes down. So because mechanically it works different, I guarantee they couldn't figure out how to do anything with it. And that's why they nerfed Franklin to not remove charges, because it was probably breaking their game and Billy was getting buffed and Pig was getting nerfed or something like that. Crazy shit was probably happening. So an unfortunate casualty to all of this is Franklin's being made pretty much completely useless, which is a very good counter against very strong medkit teams. So that's just a funny little aside there. And by funny, I mean very sad. But the problem with fog vials, the reason why there's so much disparity in terms of opinions when it comes to them, is they behave wildly differently depending on the map you're on. Like I said, I and a lot of other people have already brought this to the attention of the devs. In fact, I saw a really good post on Reddit earlier going over exactly what was going on, and they just seem to not really care or address this at all. People have reported it on the actual bug reports on the forums. Buddy, I am recording a video. Must you play with that right now? Yes, he can. He is a king. He can play whatever he wants. So we had this issue where, depending on the map, it can be completely useless or extremely overbearing. And that means that when people are saying it's too weak, they're right. And when they're saying it's too strong, they're also right. Which just pisses everyone off, because now everyone's got dissenting opinions about the exact same thing. But they're both correct, because depending on the map they're on, it can be useless or way too strong. Let me give you a perfect example. I just recorded it this patch just a few minutes ago. Okay, so here are the fog vials on the new map. This is what it looks like on the new map, the current fog vials. I mean, it's not doing anything. Like, I can just see shit, 30 meters away. These trees, everything here. It's effectively doing absolutely nothing. And to be fair, even before they nerfed it, this is kind of how it looked on this map. Because for whatever reason, on this particular map, it just doesn't really do anything. It's based on like the base fog of the map or the base lighting or shaders of the map. I don't exactly know what coding-wise is making this happen, but you can see in all these examples, it doesn't do anything. It has really no effect. Now let's look at another map. Okay, so now with the exact same add-ons, the exact same fog vial, look at how obstructive it is on this map. Compare the render distance from what we just looked at to this. This is infinitely harder to see in the distance. Like, look at this shit. There's a wall here. You can't even see it. It's like 8 meters away. You can't see shit on Dead Dog, and this is with the post-nerf version. So the problem is, it's still too annoying on certain maps and utterly worthless on other maps. They didn't fix the actual issue with this, which is the giant disparity in the amount that it actually obscures things. Now, as long as they don't fix that main issue, we're going to have, the ongoing rage about it still being too strong. And then people going, what the fuck are you talking about, you noob? It's not strong, look. And then again, that person will be right. And then the other guy will go, yeah, no, look. And then that guy will also be right. Like, they need to realize and fix the main cause, which is causing all of the anger for people, which is the map disparity. So hopefully they do address that. Like I said, it's been extremely upvoted on Reddit. It was the top rated post on Reddit like, 4 or 5 days ago, I think. And I know they've seen it. I've seen it on their bug reports as well. It said this has been seen and confirmed and reported to the devs. So I know they know this stuff. I'm just guessing, again, this is just a laziness thing. This entire chapter is so lazy that I'm very inclined to believe that this is just simply, yeah, the base lighting of maps works weirdly with the thing, so fuck it. It's just gonna make it terrible on all maps, but then also not on some maps. I really, truly believe, and I know, again, this sounds cynical. I've been very cynical lately about this game, but it's just, I really think that's the answer. I think they're just too lazy to make it work properly depending on the lighting. Now, again, I want to reiterate this. You want this to be fixed. You actually do want this to be fixed, because if it remains useless, all you're going to see is just, again, more medkits and, toolboxes and things that you don't really want to be going against this killer. Like, I actually thought of the release as fog vials it was basically a buff to killer, because it means I was going to have to deal with less of the actual super strong items. And again, on certain maps, it was annoying, and I actually would lose people in chase. And if they fix this issue, it wouldn't be a problem, but it could still maintain certain usefulness on most maps. So that's the issue. I don't think fog vials were ever really a problem, except on a couple of maps where it was overbearingly way too hard to see. And it's always going to be better than getting a medkit or a toolbox on the survivor side. So I want the developers to fix this the proper way, not the lazy way as they've currently done. Make it viable, but not overpowering, so we can have another viable item that'll dilute the item pool a bit more. That's what I would like to see. Will they do that? Almost definitely not. They're probably going to wipe their hands of this and never touch it again, which, again, just so lazy. But that's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.